Hello and welcome to another episode of the Y'all Dirty podcast, where we talk about all things dirty when it comes to our homes, hygiene, and really just anything that gets under our skin. I am your host, Sara, professional organizer, cleaner, packer in the Indianapolis area, as well as in Nashville, Tennessee. And with me is my wonderful, beautiful, very clean sound engineer, Eric. How are you doing, Eric?
Pretty good. Happy to be here.
Oh, wonderful. You seem sprightly today.
Bit sprightly.
How do you feel about our week off? It was like we took a fall break. Do you feel like we needed it?
No, I think we stay in our routines, you know. Plus the people need us.
I know. That's it. It's what the people want. The people want to hear the dirt. I know, but you know what? I had to. I feel like things just got really crazy. We recorded, 2 Mondays ago, and that whole week was insane. I feel like all of my clients are just popping out babies. Lots of pregnancies. And one of them is she has twin toddlers and just had a boy a few weeks ago. And then the other one should actually be going into labor any second. She's got a 1.5-year-old, and now they're going to have a new little one. So
are they not aware that children ruin everything?
I don't know. You would think that once they have one or two, that, you know, that would kind of indicate that, you know, things are going to be a little bit different and messy. And I just, you know, like I said, I was a one and done. Yeah. I just couldn't do anymore. But he's wonderful. He's great. He's super easy when it comes to
laid back.
Yeah. Very laid back. Very good listener. He never colored on the walls. He never, and he doesn't like anything dirty on his hands. So it's not like he just sits there and makes messes. And he's 8 now, but I'm just saying when he was young, So, what have you been up to?
Oh, not much. Do you mean over our week?
Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while.
Nothing really. Closed the pool. That was kind of the highlight. Getting ready for all the mowing and leaves and all the stuff that's coming next.
Just the fall stuff. Are you a pumpkin spice latte guy?
No. But
what?
I did accidentally try a pumpkin, I don't know, some kind of little donut thing. It was really good.
Oh, is it from Starbucks?
No.
Oh, okay. They have a cheese, it's like a pumpkin muffin or something, cream cheese, something.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
Pretty tasty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of the highlight. So
you're pulling out your sweaters and your boots and
no sweaters, but I don't know. I think it's men. You look at the season, you're like, okay, here's all the things I have to get done. So you're just checking them off as you go because it never ends.
Yeah.
The home stuff, it never ends. I mean, and it's the same for ladies, I'm sure, but a lot of my stuff is outside. So
yeah. Well, yeah, and we're going to cover that today. It's interesting that you bring up the pool, but we will get to that. So I had an interesting evening last night. I thought I'd go ahead and talk about it because part of our show is, like I said, things that get under our skin.
Does that explain the dude's shirt you're wearing?
It's a mom button down. The reason I'm wearing it is because I needed something, I wanted something with sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to wear a hoodie. I always wear a hoodie. And I don't know, it's blue. I always wear black, white, cream. I'm a very neutral minimalist. I thought this is my crazy, hey, I'm going to wear some color. You don't even care. You're looking down.
No, I care. I'm looking for something to add to this conversation.
Oh my gosh. Of course you are. So I texted you last night from Valvoline, and all I said was, hey, I'm getting these guys to listen to our podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to tell you about what is that?
Not the one that I thought it was. Go ahead.
Oh God, was that like a zombie or something?
I don't know. I would normally never.
I was
just looking.
Terrifying. So should I let you finish looking for your thing? I feel like you're a typical man. You can't look me right in the eyes.
What's wrong with
having a conversation with you. Okay, fine, whatever. I'll come back to my story in a second.
Okay, I'm done with it. I was trying to find something that would Call you a pervert really loud, but
Call me a pervert for what?
the man shirt, continue.
Oh my gosh. It's a women's button down.
Is it?
It is.
Is
it's just
it?
a little bit bulkier than what I would normally wear. I think that's what's throwing you off. It's just not form-fitting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you mean form? Oh, because it's not tight?
Yes.
Scandalous?
It's not really hugging my chestorial region like some of the...
Sarah is known for tight clothes.
I am not. Mm-hmm. Yoga pants. I do wear yoga pants like 90% of the time. But shirts, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I had to get this shirt for a photo shoot. They told me to bring like a business shirt and then they didn't use it. So now I'm just, I mean, I could have taken it back, but whatever. I feel like you always have to have like the solid t-shirts when you go on auditions, and I don't know. There's just these different looks that they want you to wear. Anyway, we're getting way off topic.
That's all right.
The conversation is about people that do, I don't want to say that these people were downright dirty, but it did get under my skin. So I pull into Valvoline and there's 3 bays. So there's someone in each bay, and then there's someone parked behind bay 1. So when you pull in a situation like that, what do you do if you've got 2 bays to choose from?
Yeah, you got to pay 2.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of straddled. I kind of did the whole let's see who opens up next kind of a thing. But, I normally only do that until someone else comes along. But I got there at 6:30. They closed at 7. At 6:50, this car comes up behind me and tries to like come around me to like squeeze into one of the bays. And it's like, dude, I'm trying to figure out like which one is going to open up next. Mm-hmm. So long story short, I look over, and first of all, they're just the type of couple, I'm just saying, I don't want to call them dirty, but like a little unsavory. Mm-hmm. But they're just like, they're laughing, and you can tell they're trying to get around my car. And it's like, if you mess up my car, we're going to have some issues. Anyway, and the guy's telling everybody where to go. He's like, hey, if you can move over here and you can move here, whatever. So all of a sudden, they have this guy move into the bay that's getting ready to open up.
Okay.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. But it was just the attitude. It was almost like people that cut in line. It's like, you know what? If you end up going first, it's fine. But like to just roll in and start messing with people, I just don't like that. But the manager came out and he said, hey, how's it going tonight? And I thought, if you have me come back after I've already been sitting here for a half an hour. And
Jeffrey Dahmer's been trying to pass me this whole time in the parking lot.
Yeah. So he said, listen, Bay 3 is getting ready to open up, so I'm going to have you move over there. And I said, that's fine. And he said, listen, I know you were here before that other car. He said, we're going to give you $10 off. And I'm like, well, look, I was like, you don't have to, and then at that point you're like, you know what, I've been getting, because I try not to get worked up over stuff like that. But in the moment when someone is just like purposely trying to push your buttons, it's like,
yeah,
is it worth it to get upset? So anyway,
so I'm going to give it sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I sat there and I like after, the people were messing with me or whatever. I'm like, you know what? Like before they pulled in, I was looking up peeing in pools and, whatever, all the dirty germ stuff. And that's what I need to get back to doing.
I really wish you were doing that on their Wi-Fi.
On their Wi-Fi.
Then they would have like, who is the pervert out there?
Yeah. Yeah.
And one look at you in that dude shirt, I think they would have their answer.
I was wearing a hoodie last night.
Sure you were.
I was in yoga pants and a hoodie. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give a shout out to the Valvoline in Fishers, Indiana, the one on 116th, a little bit east of Allisonville. The manager, Joe, was the one that hooked me up. So sweet. He actually has a child that's 3, and they have another on the way.
Oh, he didn't learn from the...
He didn't learn. But it was funny because we were talking about oil, and I asked him a couple questions about the oil, which I think a lot of women just don't do. And he's like, oh, you're really interested. And I'm like, well, I do a podcast about dirty things. And he's like, he goes, so what kind of episodes have you done?
Uh-huh.
And in that moment, that's when I have to sit there and actually say out loud, okay, so we did bath towels. And he's like, okay. Then we went to finger lickers. And he goes, oh. I'm like,
when
and
you
then
say
we
it like
talked
that,
about showers, but we called it golden shower. And like, as I'm saying all of this, just this poor kid's face just gets pink. Like,
yeah.
okay. But they say they're going to listen. So,
Well, we'll see.
anyway, very nice guys. Wanted to give a shout out to them.
So what was your oil question?
Oh, well, because like when you see it count down on the thing and it gets to 0%, like my basic question was just, I know I'm not out of oil, right? It gets dirty.
Right.
But my question to him was, how much are you pushing it? Like after you get down to 0% on your little thing for your car, like after that, how much are you pushing it? Do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, well, it depends on what kind of oil that you're running. But
Okay.
the other piece is a lot of those are just timers. So
Yeah.
they're not actually, there's not like a turbidity sensor in there looking at pollutants in the oil. It's like a guess. But yeah, if you're running good oil, and I mean, there's actually a lab in Fort Wayne you can send a sample to.
Really?
So you can get an idea. But if you're using like Mobil 1, probably go 10,000 miles.
I know I'm not using like the full synthetic, like whatever they always pitch to me. Mine is like the $70 whatever. We need to do a car episode. What's that look for? What?
A lot of cash.
It is. But I had a coupon and he gave me a discount.
Yeah.
The inconvenience of that other car.
Sure.
Anyway, so no, I wanted to give them a shout out and basically just bring up something that we haven't talked about before, which is just people
Who on the show wants
doing
to
what they do.
see Sarah change her own oil on a live episode?
I would be very open to doing all of that.
Okay.
Maybe we could actually go there. Maybe they would let us film that at Valvoline.
I doubt it, but
I know, for liability. I get it.
yeah.
But one thing that he said, because I asked him, I said, after we get to talking and I, of course I catch him off guard like I do with everyone now, because now I just randomly ask people in public, like, do you pee in showers or what's the grossest thing that you like?
So Sarah's on a couple watch lists.
I am. Yeah. Yeah. I've become one of those people that just walks up and asks strangers random questions. And now people don't want to talk to me. But I asked him something that, like, hey, what in general can you think of something that grosses you out? And it took him a while because he's like, I don't know if this actually is the correct answer, but just people chewing with their mouth open. He's like, I don't need all of that. I don't need stuff flying out of people's mouths.
No, it's disgusting.
So he said that. And then we just talked about dirty jobs in general, because obviously changing oil and stuff, they get really dirty. Because he said to me, even though I do a dirty job, I really love to be clean and I try to stay clean. And I said, well, I think that's the misconception about people that do dirty jobs, because I do manual labor as well. And it's like, we are providing a service and we enjoy what we do. And Eric, I'm putting a camera on you from now on. You cannot be trusted with.
We did
just because I said doing a service.
Yeah.
We had an email?
Yes.
Why don't you just go ahead and pull it out? Okay. Where's the that's what she said button?
Ooh. The message was, why don't we see Eric?
Oh, okay. And what is the answer?
Well, primarily because I'm behind these two giant monitors and I don't want to be on the camera.
Okay, so you being behind the giant monitors has nothing to do with why you aren't on camera. So that is a flat out lie.
Well,
because I can set up a camera to the side of you, and that's what we're going to start doing.
So they can just...
So be prepared. They can get...
If we're going to do it, we're going to do it like Mr. Wilson on the Home Improvement. They can just be right here. They can just see me nose up to the eyeballs.
That is how I see you. Absolutely. It does look like the fence. It does look like the fence. Didn't he pass away recently?
Yeah. Well, it's been a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
You nasty.
Yes. I love that you saved that clip. That's interesting that you mentioned that, because I actually have a mailbag question and it has to do with you.
Great.
But we officially do not have hate mail yet. So let's just savor this for the moment that we don't have people hating on what we've already said. The the biggest question, because I've had feedback from the show, I've had people texting me, the biggest question that I got hands down was, how do you know Eric?
Really?
Yeah, they want to know why we're so comfortable talking about.
Sarah's been in love with me for many, many years.
Oh, okay, I'll let you tell the story then.
I think I just nailed it.
Okay, I guess we're going to have some different perspectives, but that's okay. So Eric and I went to high school together, and I dated one of his best friends. So we have always had, would you say, a brother-sister love-hate relationship?
Interesting you added hate in there.
I don't full on hate you. I just hate the game. I don't hate the player.
Well,
I'm just kidding. But later down the road, when that relationship ended, it was sad because I lost custody of you. Because that's what happens. It's bros before hoes, right? So.
Well, we didn't really have any other mutual friends.
I know, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I do want to tell you, now that we're going down memory lane, that the only time in high school that I got grounded was because of all of you guys. And I don't know if you know this story. And it doesn't have anything to do with you. It's just that what year did you graduate? Were you 95 or 96?
6.
Okay. So you guys were older than me. I couldn't officially car date until I was 16. But when I was dating your friend, I was 15. And you guys always had house parties.
Yes.
Right? And, it was just, and he lived with his dad. So it was just all guys all the time. Yeah. So you guys were having a party one night, and I wanted to go because said friend of yours was going to break up with me because I wasn't as old as you guys. So he kept saying, if you can't come do the stuff that we're doing and hang out with us.
That's not good. I didn't know this happened.
Yes. So my mom she did the total parent thing, which I do now, which is you fall asleep anywhere when you're exhausted and you're a parent. So she came home and fell asleep on the couch.
Okay.
And I snuck out. He came and picked me up, took me back to the house. I partied with you guys. And he brought me back home, and I slipped back in. She was still asleep.
Okay.
And I went up and fell asleep, and I was like, I did it. I went on a car date. She didn't find out. So she must have had one of those moments, like, when you kind of are in and out. The next morning, my door just totally flung open, and she said, did you leave last night? And she must have seen either the car pull away or pull back in, but she put 2 and 2 together, and I was grounded. So the funny thing now, as I look back, the worst part of the story was that he broke up with me because I got grounded.
So he just wanted to break up with you.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So it's like any excuse.
Well, because his biggest thing was, if you can't come hang out with us, like, I'm going to need an older girlfriend. It's the only time in my life where I was too young for someone. Normally guys want younger girls, but not.
A moment of clarity with Sarah.
Yes. So, but the fact that I was grounded for a week, then I couldn't do anything that week.
Right.
So then it,
So you're just at home
came full
with a
circle.
Broken heart.
Oh my God, I was. I cried and cried. And then years later, I found you guys again and ended up.
And here we are.
Crying more tears. So anyway, that's how I know Eric. We reconnected when I came back from Nashville, and
longtime crush.
My longtime I know. You went off and got married on me, and we never had a chance. So
I know.
Now we're just stuck in whatever this is.
Here we are.
This dirty, disgusting world of
podcasting.
Germs and So okay. Anyway, just a couple of housekeeping things. Let's see. So Patreon. We just did our Patreon episode following up from the Golden Shower episode. And I suggest that if you enjoy our podcast, that you go follow us there. I have rearranged the tiers, the pricing. Starting out, wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. Tier 1 is now just $2.99 a month. So it's a steal. Why are you putting on sunglasses? What are those?
Well, this way, if I am looking down at my phone, you can't tell and scold me on the show.
Oh my God, your head was down.
Well, now I can just kind of peek down.
Oh my gosh. Okay, whatever makes you sleep.
Am I looking down?
Better at night.
Can't tell.
Let's see how this works for you.
Okay.
It's like walking and chewing gum. We'll see if you can pull this off. Anyway, tier 1 is $2.99 a month. That's the audio. Tier 2 is $4.99 a month. That's the video. I really think that we've got some good content on there. It's exclusive content that will never be on this regular show. Patreon.com/y'alldirtypodcast. I will be setting up our Instagram account soon. I've just been busy. So busy. Yeah, and then there's a couple of projects that I want Eric and I to talk about. I think we're running out of town. We're running out of time today. So we'll talk about that next week. But I have a couple of ideas for us.
Great.
Are you going to play a piano solo for us? You look ridiculous.
Thank you.
I guess that fluorescent lighting is getting to you. Anyway, okay, so today we're going to talk about, as my friend from Kentucky said, the cousin to peeing in the shower.
Okay.
Which we will be talking about peeing in the pool, but that's not all we're going to be talking about. It actually gets way worse than that. Can you believe it, Eric?
Oh, I believe it.
Oh, this was actually a shocker to me when I went looking for answers. Found way more than what I thought I would, but we're going to start off with peeing. How's about that?
Sure.
All right, let's just go ahead and play. So this is a 10-minute video that I conveniently split into 3 clips for you guys, and I will commentate in between, and it's going to be amazing. So please go ahead.
Are you adding these, like the actual links to the clips to the Patreon?
I will when I have time. I have so many links to add to everything.
That's all everyone just heard.
I need an assistant. Are you going to come and help me add this stuff?
No, I need an assistant. We need 2 interns for the show.
Oh my gosh, what if we found a little Sarah and a little Eric and they look like us?
Oh, that would be so creepy. And
I could put her in a little man's button-up shirt.
Yeah,
you could. It's from Banana Republic. It's not a cheap shirt.
No one said it was a cheap shirt.
They used to make them more fitting, and now it just looks like a... Okay, just... Can you play the clip?
Your dude's shirt? Okay.
My dude's shirt.
Can I just mention that I hate this guy for wearing those freaking sandals with pants. Here we go.
Okay.
Maybe. There. Okay.
Now that summer is winding down and you've already spent lots of time in the water, I want to show you now how to figure out how much pee is in any pool. There's actually a lot of misinformation on the topic of pee in pools, so I'm going to do some experiments on my own, along with some clever science people in foreign lands, and spoiler alert, some of the results are good news and some aren't. So let's jump right in.
So that clip was important because it was the very beginning of it. But when he held up that little Canadian flag, I thought, oh, that is just a sign from the germ gods that Eric is supposed to watch this.
Yeah, I just want to go back to his horrible little sandals.
What is...
Look at that.
Oh, he is wearing
Looks like he's pooping in the pool, and I paused it right there.
Well, so the clip starts with him jumping out of the pool.
Does it?
Yeah. I'm telling you, I try to trim up a lot of this stuff for you. That's what he's doing. He came from inside the pool to start the video.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, I believe this, and I'm so sorry about this because it's on my phone and I don't have access to it. I think his name is Mark Rober. Is that correct?
I have no idea.
Okay, so...
It's not included in anything that you sent me.
I know. I believe his name is Mark Rober. He is an ex-NASA, I think, engineer. And doubtful. I think his, you say doubtful?
Those sandals.
Those just scream scientist sandals.
No,
you don't think so?
No, it screams someone that doesn't make good decisions.
So I think his bio says something about ex-NASA engineer / friend of science, whatever. So anyway, I thought this was an interesting YouTube video because it actually talks about a really great way to measure urine in the pool. So like I said, I split this up into 3 clips. So basically what he does is he takes a sample he has his friend's pool and spa, which is the hot tub, and then there's a public pool and spa. So he gets 4 samples, 1 from each. And he takes it to this scientist where she actually has a method where they test artificial sweeteners because apparently, and this is what he's going to explain in the next clip, is that because you can sweat out urea, which is, I can tell you're paying attention. Thank you for that.
Spell urea.
I think it's urea because it's.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, it's like uric acid. So basically, what he starts off by saying, and I cut this out, is that there's plenty of ways to test urea in a pool, but you can sweat out urea. So if you want to find out how much pee is in the pool, they have found a way to do this. And apparently, artificial sweeteners are in everything. Mm-hmm. So the only way for a sweetener to be in the pool is if it passed through a person. So if you want to go ahead and play clip 2, this is where he explains this a little bit more.
The reason drinks like these are 0 calories is because you taste the acesulfame potassium sweetener, but the chemical compounds aren't broken down at all by your body. So more than 99% is passed through in your pee within 24 hours. And therefore, the only reason this would be in the pool is if it passed through a person first. And just to be sure, we measured the source water at both locations, because sometimes trace amounts of the sweetener can be found in the water supply. And if so, we just subtract that from the result.
So basically the study is we're going to take pool water, spa water. We're going to test the water source for each, and whatever sweetener is in there is how much pee is in the pool.
Disgusting.
What do you think? Okay, so before we play clip number 3, which is the last clip and actually gives the results of this, how much in gallons, I just want you to just guess, in a regular public pool, not necessarily the pools that they're testing, but in a regular public pool, how many gallons of urine do you think?
69.
Of course you would say. Eric's so proud of himself. I rarely see you chuckle. Okay, go ahead and play the last clip and we will find out.
As a general rule of thumb, though, public pools about this size will contain approximately 13 gallons.
Okay, so he said about this size, and you guys can't see it. It looks like...
That looks like an apartment pool.
Yeah.
It's like a residential pool.
Yeah, there's really... I mean, short of counting all those tiles. Yeah, it's not a humongous pool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you live in an apartment complex, when he says a pool of this size, but that's... And we can see all the gallons of the yellow stuff. But yeah, so if you think about your apartment pool, if you poured 13 gallons of urine into it.
Yeah, so this may be 15, like a 15 by 20 pool or something. Here we go. All right, back to the horrible little... Are those actual jugs of whiz? I just want to ask
I'm sure
that.
they are.
Okay.
I'm sure it's his.
You should spin your little camera around just to show people the giant whiz jugs.
You know how long it takes me to set up this camera.
So
it's
fussy.
a bad idea.
Okay, here we go.
Fussy is the word
of the pee. And Olympic pools will contain, brace yourself, over 130 gallons.
Ooh.
130 gallons, those dirty, dirty swimmers.
Yeah.
Did you ever swim in high school? Were you on the swim team?
No, but I have a great story about that. We'll talk about offline.
Oh, okay.
I had a knee injury, and I was in charge of what I personally deem the pork chop platoon. I'll tell you later.
Okay. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so yeah, and I watched various clips of professional swimmers. Ryan Lochte actually does a funny little parody where he basically says, you know, the pool is my toilet, and that's just how it goes.
Oh.
But a lot of them do. And the problem with that too, with indoor pools, is that I guess a lot of swimmers are at higher risk for asthma. Like there's a lot of swimmers have asthma, or
it's those little shorts.
It's the shorts. Oh my gosh. Eric.
I'm a wealth of knowledge.
Did you work at NASA?
I'm not telling.
It's amazing. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the other part of the video that we don't see, did you know that when you have chlorine in water, that is not what makes your eyes red? when you swim. Did you know that?
I did know that.
So do you know what does make your eyes red?
Are you referring to the sulfuric acid?
It's like trichloramine. But I think we both know where this is going, right?
Yeah, but that's a component of chlorine too.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, it's urine combined with chlorine.
Ooh.
So he does his own little experiment. He's got 2 5-gallon buckets, and he pours water in both, and he puts chlorine in both. But bucket B has a little bit of urine, and he closes them up, and 3 days later he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
He smells the first one, and he said it doesn't smell like anything, even though there's like 4 times the amount of chlorine in that bucket that there should be for that amount of water. So in bucket B, he bends down and smells it, and he's like, I can't believe it. He said, that is your typical public pool, indoor pool nostalgic smell that everyone thinks is chlorine, but it's not. It's actually where urine has mixed with chlorine.
When you can smell chlorine really strong, that's when it's gassing out of the pool.
Yes.
And it's not effective.
Yes.
Which is why I mentioned this topic to you. Do you want to talk about some other stuff that's been going on that's maybe why pools are extra unsafe?
Yes. I'm going to go ahead because I have everything. I wanted to make sure that you didn't think that I was putting this episode all on you. So I have done my own research, but I'm going to let you lead on this next part because you were the one that did the investigative work and you came up with this.
Well, it wasn't much investigative work, but...
Eric, if I'm trying to pump you up, you just let me, buddy.
All right.
Okay, so let's talk about pool chemicals. Is that where you want to go with this?
Well, yeah.
Can you take off those ridiculous
glasses? No, because I don't want you to know what I'm looking at.
Eric...
You and your man shirt or this...
Oh, my God. But the glass, I mean, it just... It throws me off for you to have those on.
Mm-hmm. Was that shirt in Pirates of the Caribbean?
At least it's not a lampshade.
What's wrong with that?
Oh my gosh, I'm wearing blue. It's a brighter color.
I forgot about your other pirate shirt. Looked like a lampshade kind of.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, thanks for
back when
reminding me.
Times were happier.
Yeah. So because it was a fire, I believe, in Louisiana.
Yes, it sure was.
There's a factory that produces like all of the chlorine pucks, and it's a lot of the chemicals, where they go to make these pucks. So the 3-inch chlorine tabs were pretty much non-existent. If you wanted to buy a bucket of these tabs, at first, I mean, they were like $500.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So just for reference, normally, like a 3-pound bucket of the really, really good ones are like $70.
Yeah.
So,
it said 40% of the country's chlorine tablet supply was in Louisiana, and it was destroyed by Hurricane Laura. But then I guess a fire on the premises.
Yeah, classic Laura, but
then it said another fire in January 2022 in New Jersey destroyed even more. It says firefighters were able to get it under control, but not before 100,000 pounds of chlorine tablets were lost. So why don't you tell us how important it is for chlorine to be in the pool and at the right levels, and what happens when you can't find chlorine?
So the piece that people don't understand is inside of those tablets, there's another chemical. It's an acid, the cyanonic acid. It's CY. You can look it up.
Okay.
That is what makes chlorine stable. Because if you're using liquid chlorine, which, by the way, liquid chlorine is bleach, it's just a lot stronger.
Okay.
So if you need bleach to clean in the summer, go to Menards and buy pool chlorine. Anyway, it's like $3.99 a jug. So when you put liquid chlorine in a pool and you're missing this other acid to make it stable, it's ineffective in about, 45 minutes? I think, did you look it up?
Yeah, it did say like in spas, like in hot tubs, because of the heat, that it evaporates like really quick.
It can, but it's the sun's UV rays on pools. It just bakes it. So when you go to a pool and you smell it, it's the chlorine gassing out of the pool, which means it's useless. So people are trying to dump all this liquid chlorine in their pools. and then the sun's out and you're just, I mean, it's throwing money down the drain. I shared with some people, you can actually buy that acid separately.
Okay.
So you don't want too much of it because you can get what's called chlorine lock. But I added the appropriate amount of this acid and was using liquid chlorine, and I was fine. I didn't have pucks for a whole year, and our pool was sanitary and ready to go.
So did you use the strips? Like, do you test it with the chlorine strips?
No. Sometimes.
Do you test it with anything?
Yeah, I'll pull some out and usually run by Leslie's and have them check it.
Oh, okay. So there's somebody that checks it for you.
Well, we do it. I do it sometimes at the house, but
okay. Because it does say never mix different pool chemicals with each other. It's particularly dangerous to mix chlorine and acid.
Yes.
But that's what you did, or
no,
you did something different? Okay. So what is this talking about?
What they're talking about is muriatic acid.
Oh.
So you have to add muriatic. A lot of people don't realize that either. There's muriatic acid in the pools. Okay. And as you add chlorine, liquid chlorine, that acid will raise on its own, and chlorine works better in the acidic environment. Okay. But it's hard on the equipment, and it's hard on you. And so to bring the acid down, you just add baking soda. Okay. But
so there's an article from 2019. It looks like the CDC said pool chemical injuries lead to over 4,500 emergency department visits each year. This was in 2000, let's see, from 2008 to 2017. It was part of their morbidity and mortality weekly report.
Mm-hmm. Well, mixing chemicals is never good.
Right.
But yeah, people they'll try to add a bunch of stuff all at once in their pool. But so if you're going to use liquid chlorine to sanitize, as soon as the sun goes down, load it up and just let it run all night. And then as soon as the sun comes out, it's gone. But
okay.
And you could still get some of the powdered chlorine, but you need to make sure that it's the correct kind because you want it to be stable. Mm-hmm. So then people are starting to use bromine and some other things.
Yes, there was an article that talked about bromine. So here's the problem. So people think that peeing in the pool isn't that big of a deal because the chlorine is going to take care of it, but there's other factors to it.
Right.
So if you actually walk into a pool and you smell the chlorine, then that's not a good thing, right? A pool should just smell like nothing. Right. Correct? Right. Okay. So the problem that, and this is where I'm just going to go ahead and get right into the grossness because I don't want to run out of time before I mention this. So people think about peeing in the pool. There are even people that use the pool as a substitute for their shower. Like if they get off work and they're hot and sweaty, they hop in, they don't shower.
Yeah, it's gross.
Of course, it's always recommended that you shower before you get in the pool. As a kid, I didn't because I just didn't. I mean, kids just don't think about that stuff. It's like, why go get wet when you're going to go get wet? Mm-hmm. I think that's so, but you have to think about like when you're at a public pool, who is actually using the pool? It's mostly kids. There are adults, their parents. But the other thing to think about, and this is the big one here, is how much poop is actually in a pool.
Which is why it says if you've had issues, even within the last several days, stay out of the pool.
Right. You mean like with diarrhea?
Your butt is contaminating the water.
There is actually, let me see here if it's in the article that I'm holding. I can't wait to talk about scum lines. That's going to be a good one. There was an article that talked about, I think at any given time, I think it was 1.4 grams of fecal matter is on people at any given time.
Go on.
I think that was it. Let me find here. Now I'm all.
Just keep looking. I'll throw on the next little.
Let's see. Oh, did you come up with something for me?
Get your filthy ass out of here before I call security. You nasty.
You nasty. I love that.
That's the edited version when I took out.
Right. Yeah. Right. Oh, here we go. Here it is. Okay. So Mark Siegel, a clinical professor of medicine at NYU Langone Medical Center in New York City, likened swimming pools to cesspools. He said, I'm not a fan of them.
Yeah.
So literally a cesspool is a place underground where sewage gathers, but figuratively you might hear anything that's full of germs or just plain disgusting described as a cesspool. And when you think about the fecal matter that ends up in pools, it is downright, it's actually scary. So it says to shower for at least 1 minute before you get into the water to remove dirt or anything else on your body. Take kids on bathroom breaks and check diapers every hour. So people don't realize that a lot of these kids not only pee in the pool, but it says in this other article that if there is a diarrheal issue, that's going to be invisible. It's not just, I found wasn't it in Caddyshack where they had the Baby Ruth thing?
They drain the whole pool.
They drain the whole pool. I think a lot of people think if there's going to be an issue like that, it's going to be visible. And they said, do not even think that if diarrhea is in the pool that you're going to be able to see it. The other thing was they said that I think there's the misconception that chlorine will kill things immediately, and it doesn't work that way. So do you have anything to add in terms of how chlorine works and how quickly and...
No, I think we covered it. I mean, I will had this other piece. I think a lot of people, they rely on what the pool looks like, and to a point, that's fine. But they're unable to obtain the chlorine pucks. They're adding a bunch of algicide, so the water doesn't turn green. So they're thinking, oh, it's fine. And it's a cesspool.
Yeah.
And by the way, I mean, don't spend money on algicide. Just you can buy. No, it just left me. I blanked out.
Bubblegum.
Copper sulfate.
Okay.
Just copper sulfate and dissolve it in water, and just and if you look at algicide, most of it will say, "Oh, it's copper sulfate." That's what it is. So
yeah,
you can buy it at Menards in like the home and garden area.
Okay.
Little blue crystals.
They also talked about decorative water fountains that a lot of kids will play in those, and those are really gross.
Heathens. Especially when they say stay out of the fountain. Like
yeah.
the World War II memorial in D.C.
Yeah.
And these filth bag tourists were in the water. Yeah.
Well, because you have the animals. That's the other thing, too, is you have these wild animals in the water.
They were animals. They were Italians.
But we need a drum set in here.
I've got one. It's next door.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
So Aqua Magazine says, because residential swimming pools are seldom completely enclosed, it is not uncommon for both domesticated and wild animals to enter the pool. They call it zoonotic diseases. And that can be animals that spread zoonotic diseases include both domestic and wild animals. Do you let you have a dog, right?
Yes.
Do you let the dog in the pool?
Well, the Great Dane fell in the pool a few times because she's a big dumb animal. She's like hopping around all happy and falls in there, and then
So she didn't even purposely jump in.
She's
just
goofy. So
Poor thing. That makes me feel bad for her. Does she have little floaties that you have to put on her?
No, well, so now I have put them all in the pool, and they realize they don't want any part of it, so now they kind of just stay away from it.
Okay.
And that was a tactic.
Okay. Do you ever have a problem with raccoons in the pool? Because I guess that's a big deal if a raccoon ends up in your pool because of all the crap that they can carry.
I've not had a dead raccoon in there, but there's plenty of frogs and voles and moles and mice occasionally.
Yeah. It says mice and small rodents are occasionally found in skimmer baskets.
Oh, yeah.
Rodents carry multiple varieties of salmonella.
Mm-hmm.
Armadillos. Did you know that there are armadillos now in Tennessee? I saw one. I was at a client's house. This was during COVID. I had some clients that were moving into a property, and they said, hey, can you go over there the day before us and kind of set up some stuff? And I was at the back of my car, and I felt like I was being watched. And I turned around. It was a little armadillo in Nashville, Tennessee. And I actually have a little video of it. Not today, but I'll show you.
going to put it on the Patreon.
Maybe I should. Yeah. But armadillos, I guess they carry Mycobacterium leprae, which is leprosy.
Mm-hmm.
Geese produce large amount of droppings both in water and on surrounding surfaces. And it talked about all those different animals. And then like with dogs, they said that fecal matter obviously sticks in their fur.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you let the dogs in the pool, that the hair and all of that gets clogged up and all that stuff. So, So I don't know. As far as being afraid of the pool, I'm not afraid of the pool. There was actually a couple of articles that talked about one of the things that you can do, because when you visibly look at a pool, that's not going to be able to tell you anything. So you can get the little test strips. A lot of people may think that that's kind of overkill, but we were at a pool, actually our apartment pool during COVID, they limited the amount of people that could go in because of COVID. But when we were down there, the way that the pool looked, it's like there was just this oily haze on the top of it. So, when you see stuff like that, do you think it just hasn't been cleaned, or it's not the proper level? Like, should you be able to see oil on the surface?
No.
Or what? Is it a dirty pool? Does it not have enough chlorine? Is it both?
If you're seeing a film on there,
Mm-hmm.
I would wonder, are they turning the filter off?
I don't know.
I have hours on a timer, but it's not a public pool.
Okay.
If you were an apartment complex, I would say just let that sucker run all the time. But if you see something floating on it, maybe it's possible they had a plumbing problem with the pool too. Maybe the floor drain isn't working or something. Yeah. Or they have a valve shut off.
Man, there was a, let's see, was it this one? Summer season for water safety. This was from, it's Indiana. How do you say that? Epidemiology, is that right? Newsletter? Epidemiology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Common spelling.
I know. I'm so tired. It says most people don't think of diarrhea when they visit the swimming pool or water park. That's the other thing, is water parks.
Oh, yeah.
And when public pools are properly maintained and chlorinated, the risk is low. However, over the past 10 years, over 150 outbreaks of gastrointestinal illness have been reported involving community pools, large water parks, hot tub spas, lakes, and rivers. So it says it may take up to several weeks for some germs to cause symptoms of illness. So if you get sick like 6 weeks after you go to the water park, sometimes you're going to think it's something else. You're going to think you either went to like a restaurant and ate some bad food. Like, it can take a while. So if you've been in the pool and you don't get sick for weeks later, it could still be the pool. It
could be because maybe you talked in church.
Is that what it is?
Could be.
The Lord is not happy with you talking. I'm so glad you took off the glasses. That was just kind of freaking me out. It made me feel like I needed to get you like a cane or something.
I'm fine with that.
I know. So the amount was 0.14 grams of feces. Where's the other thing? There's something else that maybe it's this one.
So have you heard of Swimly?
Swimly. What is you put the glasses back on. What is Swimly?
It's an app where you can rent your pool out to people for little parties.
Oh, okay. God, that sounds like...
I wanted to do it, though.
Yeah.
I was shot down. But
You were shot down by who? The wife?
But there's people that are making $3,000-$4,000 a month.
Well, yeah, if you want to rent out a pool.
Yeah, so it's like $200 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe next year I can just do it on days that she's working. I'll just.
Do you need me to come be a lifeguard?
Yeah, we have a lifeguard.
Oh my gosh, I almost drowned as. I guess there's a thing called lifeguard lung, which is the same kind of thing as the asthma, I guess. I don't know. I need to look that up. So Cryptosporidium, and is it Giardia? Is that how you say it? Are extremely infectious parasites that are highly resistant to chlorine. So I just want people to realize that even if there's chlorine in the pool, that doesn't necessarily mean that chlorine is going to take care of everything. Let's see. The way many of these germs are spread from person to person in swimming pool water is via fecal transmission. In other words, prepare for the ooh factor by people swallowing water that has poo in it. These bugs live and multiply happily in an infected person's gastrointestinal tract or excreted in their poo. I feel like there's one more thing. Oh, here we go. Let's end with this. We've only got a couple minutes left. A 2006 study found that during a 45-minute swim, adults swallowed on average 35 milliliters. That's almost 2 tablespoons of poop while they are swimming. Children swallowed twice that amount because, of course, the kids don't know to spit it back out. Oh, goodness. Many people think that chlorine kills germs instantly.
That's what she said.
You got to be quicker on the draw. It actually takes different times for the same amount of chlorine to work depending on the microorganism. Here's our last thought on this. Chlorine will kill bacteria such as E. coli in under a minute, but around 16 minutes to kill the hepatitis A virus.
Ooh.
So if someone gets in the pool with hepatitis, guess what? It needs 16 minutes for the chlorine to kill it. So if you end up, I know, it'll take 45 minutes to kill Giardia, and wait for it, up to 10 days to kill Cryptosporidium. So fun stuff, right? And then another note that I made was that as far as peeing in the pool, there's a lot of people that swim while they have UTIs. Because if it's the weekend and they have plans, guess what? They're going swimming. So I just want people to realize that.
So are you implying that also then gets in the water?
Oh, yeah. I'm flat out stating that. Well, the thing about peeing in the shower, they said don't even pee in the shower if you have a UTI, because then you do absolutely have bad bacteria in your urine. So if people are going swimming that have current UTIs, even if they're not full on peeing in the pool, they could dribble. And the people that have diarrhea, if they think they're just peeing in the pool, I'm just saying some of these kids have diarrhea and their parents still take them to the pool.
Can I tell you another thing they do? They throw
What?
rocks in the pool.
Okay.
And then you want to throat punch them.
That is true. They also said do not change your baby's diaper on the pool deck. Please don't do it. Go to the restroom and do all of that. So real quick, I know we've got to wrap up. So I was going to talk about this on our shower episode and the Patreon shower episode, but you know what? We just keep getting on some tangents. So my mom's neighbor is a plumber. And like I told you before, I wasn't trying to find a plumber to see how everything worked with the peeing thing. I know that we figured all that out. What I wanted was the stories. Remember how I told you that I wanted stories of a plumber that went to the college campuses? Well, he's been all over. So I want to ask you,
Okay.
and you can have a few guesses if you want. When you think about what he says is the grossest location as far as the drain, what do you think it is? What would you think? Because I kept thinking it would be like frat houses. And I almost guarantee you're not going to guess this.
Oh, do you mean who has the grossest drains?
Yes. What type of business or place, or like just when you think about drains in general, who do you think has the grossest drain?
Doctors or hospitals? I don't know.
Close. I'll give you one more guess. That is close. He says the morgue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you not look surprised? Why didn't you guess that?
I don't know. I mean, just,
He called it people juices.
yeah. People juices could
Yeah.
be disgusting.
Yeah. He said, actually, he said that drains, the shower drain, and he's an interesting character. He's like, when I used to drink a lot, he said, because of course I had to ask him, I knew going into this. So this particular neighbor of my mom's is very chatty. But I thought, if I'm going to get the information that I want, I just have to let him run. I just have to let him run free. Mm-hmm. So I heard all kinds of stories about things that aren't even close to this episode, but we're just going to, dial it down a little bit. But yeah, he said the thing about peeing in the shower, he said if someone pees in their own shower and they don't do it often, He said now he has been in showers where it does smell like a urinal. And I told him what you said about pouring bleach, and he said that only takes care of the smell. That actually doesn't clean out
the
trap.
uric acid.
Right. It doesn't actually clean out the trap. He said, so the problem is that if you're constantly peeing in your shower, or if you're using your shower as a urinal, he said, which some older people do. He's like, I don't know if they get confused or whatever.
They're just over it.
Yeah. They're like, this is it. I'm
Yeah.
just going to pee everywhere. Yeah. So then what was the other thing he said? Oh, he said, it's a place that you used to work at was another gross place.
Oh, yeah. Talking about across the street?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
At the jail?
Lots of semen in those drains.
Eric used to work at the jail, and that's what he said, was that he went to work on a drain at the jail, and he put all of his equipment down, and he's laying down to get in this drain, and a guard walked in and was like, you don't know how many almost babies are...
Yeah, 50,000 gallons probably.
Oh my gosh. And he did talk about, because I was telling him about the notice that we saw online for the one college, and he said, absolutely. He said, these people that go into showers and quote unquote make love to themselves can cause a very big problem. He said at minimum, you're looking at maybe $200 just to come like try to clear out the drain. Like just to, why are you laughing?
Go ahead.
No, because I said just in general, just so that people get an understanding, because part of that notice was talking about like it's expensive for you guys to do this, like go to your room. And he said it can be it could be like $500 to clear up some of those.
So here's another
problems.
little tidbit.
Okay.
From when I worked at the jail, our maintenance guy over there used a product called Thrift.
That's what he uses, our neighbor.
Yep. So you can't buy this at Menards or Lowe's, but you can buy it at the plumbing supply houses, which you don't have to be a licensed plumber. Anyone can go there and shop. It's granular powder. You can probably buy it on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's just
I actually looked at it this morning because she had a clog in her sink. So he left it for
hot water.
Hot water. Yeah. He did say that.
Dissolved a blanket with it once. Somebody flushed a blanket.
Are you serious? Yeah. Oh my God.
So,
he did talk about, he said the one thing, because I said that we did the podcast. Obviously, I told him why I'm asking him all of this.
Sure.
He's like, oh, this is interesting that my neighbor's daughter is asking me why I pee in the shower. He said that people will use lye.
Yep.
He said, do not do that. He said, first of all, and I didn't know what it was. He said, if you're going to go bury a body and you sprinkle lye on it, that will decompose the body.
Mm-hmm.
I won't tell you anything else that he said about that. It does make me think we need to start locking our doors a little bit more.
Okay.
No, basically he said he doesn't even like liquid plumber and all of that, because when he goes to work on something, now with the lye, he said that somebody used it and didn't tell him.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's not a problem to use it. It's the problem of using it and not telling anyone.
Yes, because he said all of a sudden his shirt started disintegrating. It like burned a hole through his shirt, and then he said it calcifies.
Yep.
So when he pulled it out, he actually took it out and put it in the truck. And he said that anytime he went to pick it up, even with gloves on, to move it or to show somebody, it burned through the gloves. Yeah, it's horrible. So,
but lye is there's only two types of drain cleaners, and acid and base. So lye is the ingredient in most all of them. But if you use it responsibly, and that's fine. But if you load your plumbing up with it and don't tell someone,
right,
not good.
He did say, he goes, please tell people do not pee in public showers, because it's the frequency and it's the quantity. He said when you have multiple people doing stuff like that, that's when it becomes a problem. Yeah. So even though we were joking, and my grandpa was joking about peeing in the YMCA shower.
I'm sure he's happy he brought that up again.
Well, he doesn't listen to this. He just now accepted like an iPad. Like we had an iPad for him years ago, and we said, hey, you can listen to podcasts or audiobooks or whatever. And he's just finally now saying, okay, fine. So he doesn't care. He would tell you himself that that's what he did. So anyway, yeah, I thought it was really interesting. And And then, of course, I heard all of the other sub stories, which now I'm not going to be able to. It's probably why I couldn't sleep the other night. I haven't been able to sleep. I feel like there's just this energy in the air, and I don't think it's fall. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. There is something in the air, though.
Yeah. Last question for you, real quick, and then we'll go.
Okay.
Do you enjoy having a pool, or do you think the maintenance is do you think it's worth it?
If you're someone that likes to swim even occasionally and you don't want to be around a bunch of perverts or ladies wearing men's shirts, it's nice because it's, you can go out whenever you want and you have total privacy. Mm-hmm. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Do you have to skim it every day or just when you go to use it? I've never owned a pool, so.
So if it's on and circulating, the pool will kind of skim itself into the baskets, but you got to make sure those are cleared out. And then if you stay on top of that, you can keep it from going into the sinking, and then you got to vacuum it. But we have an automatic vacuum that kind of runs. And but every time you mow, anytime leaves fall, anything, it's all going in the water. So,
Yeah. Well, and then you said as far as cleaning up for the season, is that a big job?
Closing the pool is terrible. Opening it is very, very easy. And it's not even really terrible. It's just, it takes longer. You're pumping out water and doing a few things. I kind of take a few extra steps to ensure that, I don't want anything to freeze underground and bust. So,
yeah. Well, I think we're going to call this episode Y'all Dirty Cesspools.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
I think it's fitting. I just didn't did you realize that poop was such a big part of that component? Did you just think that it was people, like they mentioned, like cosmetics, obviously the oil in cosmetics and all of that stuff. When you think about deodorant, all of that stuff on people's skin just gets in the...
Yeah, I didn't think about the cosmetics. I did think about the other, but
yeah.
I've never been sick from the pool.
That you know of.
Well, but I had.
It's been a long time since I've been to a public pool.
Right, but I haven't had any kind of. It's been years.
But you've been in your pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand that. I'm just saying in a public pool.
I couldn't even tell you the last time.
Yeah.
There's nothing I have against that. It's
right.
Usually, if you're going to go you're at the Holiday Inn or something and you want to get in the pool, but.
There was something, and of course I've lost it now because I've shuffled all my papers. They did talk about hotels and motel pools, how those are the worst. Because public pools, obviously that's their business. So they have this whole team. So it really just kind of falls on, would it be maintenance at the hotel? Or is it, so?
It'd be maintenance, and then the other piece is if it's somebody that's trying to save some money and chlorine pucks are way up, and but if it's inside and it's not getting UV, you could use liquid chlorine and be fine. But
they did say I think 2023, maybe mid 2023 is when they think it's going to kind of balance back out. With
of course they said that last year. So, but a lot of the stuff now you're buying comes out of China, and it says it's a certain strength. It's not. You can just tell just from using it.
Yeah.
What about saltwater pools?
I don't know. There was nothing that popped up about saltwater pools. That's a whole other thing. That'll be, should that be our Patreon episode for next week?
It can
saltwater
be.
pools. And then I feel like there was more. There was just so much with this. I thought it was just going to be a really quick in and out, hey, either pee in the pool, don't pee in the pool. Much like Eric states.
Hey-o.
Yes.
That's what she said.
Well, we'll leave a hint for the Patreon. What is salt? What's the components of salt?
Oh God, I liked my science teacher, but I don't really want to talk about
Sodium chloride.
Right.
That's the hint.
Yes. Okay.
We'll talk about how saltwater pools work next week.
Okay. Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you. This was Eric's idea to come up with this episode, but why are you pointing?
For the Patreon episode, as we talk about saltwater pools.
Yes.
You got to wear a swimsuit.
Oh God. Can I wear yeah. Okay.
Think about it.
I'll come up with something.
Okay. And it can't be a man's swimsuit.
Dang it.
Well, yeah, probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Of course, you tell me in October.
Yeah.
I do have a sweater that I wore the other night with my friend, and it has zippers on the elbow.
Ugh.
I'm going to wear that. What do you mean, I can show my elbow cleavage.
Uh-huh.
It's cute.
You're like an Amish pervert.
All right. I think with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up for today. Again, you can follow us. You can go to Patreon, Y'all Dirty Podcast. You can go to our website, y'alldirtypodcast.com. In the next, I'd say, month, we're going to start having some merchandise on there. We'll talk about that next week.
What kind of merch?
Well, of course, we're going to have giblet towels. We're going to talk about, we need to come up with some other names for things, and we didn't get to that today. Just so much to talk about.
Lady giblets.
We're gonna have another name for that. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
See you next time, Lady Giblets.
Bye, Eric, not Lady Giblets.